We are looking live-ish. Waiting on Facebook to give me a double come. There we are. All right. Welcome back to The Change Physician. I am Melissa Katie, the Challenge Doctor, with my awesome Oregonian co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. And of course, this is Friday Faves, and we love to share what's happened in the podcast recently and what's coming up, along with maybe some of our favorite things of the past week. So how are you doing today, Kevin?
I am well. We were talking a little bit off air. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
At least you're honest.
Yeah. Well, I'm tired. It's Friday. And that's kind of a good thing, really. It's nice to be tired sometimes,
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
You've been working hard.
Working hard, and you anticipate sleeping good and all that jazz. So
yeah. So anticipation of recovery is what you're saying.
Yeah, but just sometimes there's a pleasure in being tired. I don't know how to say it otherwise, really.
No, whatever floats your boat there.
You don't ever feel like that? You just kind of feel exhausted, and it's just sort of
it kind of forces you to slow down, maybe that part.
Well, I don't know. What about, okay, well, let's not talk about just like tired, like long day tired. Like if you've ever done like a really good workout or you've done some physical exertion, there's some pleasure associated with that. Or thinking through a difficult problem and then you're like tired.
There's satisfaction in that.
There's satisfaction in all with it.
Well, there you go. I can understand that.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good. Yeah, and I made myself go for a nice walk with my husband and visit with some neighbors. So that was nice to do. So here I am in my, my typical casual, got to tame the frizzies with the headband look. So
tame the frizzies.
Yes. Naturally curly hair and an enormously humid, somebody said today, what did they call it? There's a special word for it. When it's super humid, I can't think of the word. Anyway, there's a fancy word for it. But I don't ever use
fancy word, yeah.
It's a fancy word. I'm really, it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't. I'll just have to look it up, I guess.
Does it have to do with the humidity, or does it have to do with like frizzy head? Like, is it a fancy word for frizzy head? Oh, okay.
Humidity. Maybe
it should be a fancy word for frizzy head due to humidity.
Oh, well.
Like humidus frigidorus or something,
It almost sounds like a genus and species you're trying to come up with.
Well, maybe the people that suffer from frizzy head and humidity are that Homo frigidus humidoris. I think that sounds good. Versus others that are like Homo baldus. That's my tribe.
Well, let's see. There's another word for humid. They say sultry. Have you ever heard sultry?
Yeah, but I don't usually put that in combination with environmental as much as like people. Like she approached with a sultry smile, that kind of thing. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No. I'm trying to find another word for muggy, damp, sultry, like hot, and the word is supposed to mean hot and humid. Okay, well, it's not going to happen today. The brain cannot remember what this person said. Well, maybe it'll come to me when I'm not searching for it.
It probably will. Torrid?
Okay. No, it's not that one.
Like torrid. Like a Turkish bath. That's always a good one. It's so hot and humid outside, like a Turkish bath. Yeah, that sounds.
I guess it's kind of balmy. I think she used balmy.
Really? I wouldn't have used balmy in that way.
Balmy. Let's see. How does it define balmy? Because I don't ever use that word. Pleasantly warm.
Yeah, I don't think
I wouldn't call it pleasantly warm.
I think it's like a Turkish bath for you.
Yeah,
Or a sweat box.
Well, I have to say it was like 80s or like upper 70s or low 80s yesterday, or doing some stuff in the yard, and it was just a light sprinkle, nothing disturbing, and it was like the best weather to like get work done at the house. I wish I could have that weather every time I need to do yard work.
You have
But
to come to Oregon then.
I know I have to visit. We're kind of we like the home we have and the neighborhood we live in, and
Hot and
really.
humid, and like you like living in a Turkish bath.
Well, occasionally it's Turkish bath.
Bath.
Well, for those listening, sometimes we go on these little diatribes or tangents or randomness. You'll have to forgive us, but we do want to touch on what's happened recently. Do you want to touch on some of that?
Sure. The last couple episodes that came out, one was another play on words, was How Able Are You, where we talk about things like what does that mean in terms of like vulnerable or capable or reasonable. And so that a great episode, kind of talk about really cognitive flexibility there. Then the other one that just came out yesterday is the discussion on time, and really recognizing that time is the most valuable thing that any of us has. It's sort of equal for everybody. It doesn't matter whether I have $1 billion or no money at all. Everybody has the same time bank in a lot of ways. So we talked about that and the importance of it, and sort of recognizing that and appreciating it when it comes to your own life and living and how you prioritize things. And then this upcoming week, we have a couple other episodes. One's on the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, which has a lot to do about growth. And I think in that episode, we actually talk about briefly some of the effects of trauma and things, like how oftentimes people will stick with a miserable situation simply because it's the known miserable, and that is less distressful than the unknown, the distress that's associated with doing something that's unknown, right? And why we should be willing to actually take a chance on the devil we don't know rather than stick with the same devil we know simply because it's comfortable, the comfort of misery. And then after that, we have a guest. It was Dr. Sogo Palavan, who's a pediatrician down in your neck of the woods, though not Houston. Directly in Austin. And we had a great discussion with her. It was kind of fun because she's pretty new in her sort of transitory journey thing, where she had built this practice and kind of interesting because he built a practice with her sister and that kind of thing. And then some of her understandings when it came to burnout, and then her kind of journey over the last 14-15 months. So that's kind of early stage and transition. So really, really good perspectives, because sometimes we do this hindsight thing where if you've talked to somebody who's kind of been on the path for 10-20 years, the perception of what is important seems to change. We should do an episode actually on that and the difference between kind of beginning and thinking and things like that. But that's a great episode, particularly if you're just starting off or you're really sort of noticing that something's wrong and you're wanting to change. So looking forward to that one. And other than that, those were the episodes for last week and this week.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things with Dr. Palavan, which actually is out of Houston, not Austin, in case that was confusing. I'm not sure. You said Austin or Houston?
I said in your neck of the woods.
My neck. So 2 hours south-ish, 2.5 hours southeast of me, but Texan. She's a Texas pediatrician. The best thing I think about that, I felt like I took from that, is the essence of how we can suppress our feelings or emotions, and how sometimes it takes things outside of us to create an awareness, and it might be just the right timing, the right person, just everything just falls in line before you finally can admit and no longer be in denial of those feelings that you have and how they can manifest into physical symptoms. So I'll leave it at that. You have to watch the full episode to really understand the gravity of that kind of situation.
And
pretty
where the insight came from, which was pretty profound.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a winner right there. Not easy for Dr. Palavan, but
No.
a really important time in her life. So thank you to her for being a guest on our podcast. And of course, it falls right in line with personal development, which these second 100 episodes of our podcast are catered to. And as far as, Friday Faves, we always want to wrap it around some gratitude and positive favorite things that we have. Did you have anything, Kevin?
I did, as a matter of fact. One of the fun things about all this stuff is like once you know and you're sort of tracking whatever the positive indicator is, it definitely starts catching your attention now. Mm-hmm. And so I find myself throughout the week going, oh, I should remember this. Oh yeah, this is really great. I'm going to remember this for Friday. And this one actually happened yesterday where, you do things throughout the day or whatever, and then sometimes we're busy, and you think you have to be doing something else. And what I did yesterday is I read, and Kindle Unlimited now, there's a lot of like just super pulpy fiction stuff, meaning some of these people that I'm following, like, I don't know how they write so much, but they're fun. They're not Pulitzer Prize winning. They don't take a lot of effort. They're just enjoyable reads. And so I've been, I was reading that. I was lying on the couch. I had Spotify going with the liked playlist, like, so songs that we've liked, which is kind of fun because drives my daughter crazy, but we share account with her, and so it's sort of like a mixture between what she likes and I like. And I was just sitting there going, this is I mean, the music was just great. Like, it was so wonderful. And just being in that moment and saying everything is just, this is so nice. So that was my favorite moment for the week. And it was probably because had that level of awareness, was fully engaged in what I was doing in that moment of time, and just really, really content. So that was my favorite for the week.
That's awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn. So I had a really great friend who, of course, she brought me a little adult beverage along with little miniature roses to go into my sunroom, and we hung out for a couple hours, and that was awesome. That was like my favorite thing. Of course, some of my favorite things are always taking walks with my husband, but to nurture a friendship and to be able to take time out for each other, and one of my favorite places, which is outside, not being bit up by bugs in my sunroom, that was fantastic. So that's my favorite for the week.
Do you and your husband do like daily walks?
Almost daily.
Almost daily?
Yeah, like at minimum 3 times a week, but we try to do 4 or 5. So most days of the week, I should say. Just depends on the weather, if it's tumultuous rain or not.
I don't remember if we talked about this on an episode, but there was a podcast I listened to years ago, and I can't remember exactly what the podcast was, but the two guests, I think, were like, it's either Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow or something, or they were the pair that they've done a lot of comedic movies with. And the host would ask them about like something that they had learned, or like a really important lesson. And whoever was talking about Snoop Dogg, and he says like they were hanging out with Snoop Dogg and doing, basically they're smoking marijuana because that's apparently what he does all the time, and they did all the time. And he said all of a sudden Snoop looks over and goes, "Do you take walks?" And this guy's like, "No." And so Snoop Dogg's like, "You should," right? And apparently Snoop Dogg walks his neighborhood with his family like every day. And so whoever it was, like, started doing, he's like, yeah, Snoop Dogg was totally right. So every time I hear about people taking like daily walks, I think about Snoop Dogg, and I think, man, maybe I'm supposed to be taking walks too, because if it's the wise words from the Snoop and propagated on the internet, then obviously there's some evidence to support that. So
you don't know that I taught him that he should take walks.
Did you teach Snoop? It was probably
it's
your
gotta
neighborhood,
be.
right?
He just I'm just kidding. No, I think it's,
well, I'm sure your husband would get along with Snoop, because your husband gets along with everybody, and I'm sure Snoop has got some interesting insights. So
no, I think it's you eliminate the distractions of home, and you get out in nature, get a little sunshine, and it's one-on-one personal time with that person. So and there's a really great family on our street that makes a habit of, you'll either see the husband and wife walking, or one of the parents with one of the children. They have 2 children, and you'll see that it swaps from time to time. So they get personal time one-on-one with their children. And of course they have a dog too that they take on a walk, but they are ritually going for walks. And personally, I think it's such a simple thing that demonstrates not as only a role model to be active and implement that, but to get outside and have that one-on-one time and make it like a normal, natural event for children. And then in a relationship, gives you time to maybe talk with the kids not around, or whatever it is.
Yeah. The one-on-one is, I think, it really, and like you said, you're sort of doing something
It's good
So
for
you're not
you.
like sitting there intense, like staring at each other.
Yeah.
It kind of provides that, like that DMN to kind of go free with both of you, and then just sort of we'll see where the combination goes. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
think I think for children it is nice because you're looking straight ahead for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
You look at each other occasionally, but it does take that kind of different kind of pressure off of, trying to get answers out of your kids. So it's just kind of like it's just a flowing conversation or silence. Like sometimes, it's just nice to be comfortable with the one you love and be okay with silence occasionally. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
going to
I
put
guess
that up onto my long, big old checkbox of why I should do walks, and yet I still don't do them.
yeah.
But who knows? Maybe someday.
Well, you need buy-in from the other participants too.
Well, I think my other participant, at least the two of my other participants would be totally into it. It's
Yeah.
I just don't want. This is going to sound horrible. And okay, all you guys, whoever listens to this, whenever, don't hold this against me. I just don't want to talk to anybody else. Like I don't want to walk, and like sometimes I just don't want to talk to anybody other than
Yeah.
whoever I'm with. And there's a
Well,
lot of
most of the
walkers in our
time.
neighborhood, and everybody wants to say hi.
Oh.
So, that's the whole social part, and I'm sure there's a whole,
Yeah.
all that good release. But man, to me, I just, yeah, that's probably the thing that's holding me back. I just I don't want to talk to anybody.
Well, we don't have too many interruptions. There'll be like maybe one or two neighbors that it may just be a hi or it might be a stop and chat. It just depends. But usually we usually keep going and our interactions are brief. So,
All right, well, you're adding a little more positivity, a little more, okay, maybe I need to proceed to the devil I don't know rather than, sit in the comfort of the devil I do know when it comes
right.
to walks.
And how capable are you of doing
Well,
that?
that's the thing. And at least I'm making an aware choice because I know
Yes.
I'm capable enough to do it. I'm actively choosing not to. May
No,
not be
at
the
least you're
greatest
aware.
reasons, but I'm not making excuses and saying, "Oh, I don't know how to walk," or "I don't have time to walk," or blah 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 blah, or it's too rainy or snowy or too sunny or anything. So I'm actively choosing not to do it, even though it would probably be a good thing.
Yeah, and you can put your headphones in and make it look like you're kind of getting exercise kind of thing, and you just say hi and then keep going.
Well, yeah, if headphones in and you're with somebody else, like then.
Well, not with somebody else, but if you're by yourself going for a walk, I mean, there's still a benefit there too. You can just say, make it look like you're in a serious conversation and you can't really interrupt. Anyway, why don't you take
Anyway.
us out?
All right. Well, folks, welcome or thank you for joining us on Friday Faves with the Change Physician podcast. If you are a physician or physician ally, be sure to join us at the community at thechangephysician.com. If you want to catch the episodes, you can catch them on your favorite podcast distribution network, or you can see our faces live. Well, not live. However they do it on YouTube. And until next Friday, stay well.
Take care.